Freemasons use this symbol, which is the same symbol for Apple Store, and X when it's mirrored. This symbol is a compass on top and a square below. The square creates a square which has beginning and an end. The compass creates a circle which has no beginning and no end. If the compass is the circle, which means spirit, and square is the square, which is matter, this symbolizes spirit over matter, the compass over the square. Leonardo da Vinci was showing you that you are a spiritual being in a material body. You are an individual. You have a physical body and a non-physical body. The voice in your head and the emotions you feel are eternal, but your physical body will die. The spiritual brain is the mind. The spiritual heart is the soul. The brain and heart are physical manifestations of the mind and soul. The aim is to climb the pyramid to higher consciousness, to your true spirit self, so that you can be spirit over matter and not matter over spirit. They show you these symbols in plain sight. These people are highly enlightened individuals. You will never have power if you don't have knowledge. Knowledge is the true currency of this life. The Egyptian gods never existed. They symbolize the sun in the 4 different states. Horus is the sun when it's rising. Horizon, Horus is rising. Word hours rearranged is Horus. Ra is the sun when it's radiant, when the sun is the most high, 12 noon. Set is the sun at 6 p.m. when the sun sets. Yearly cycle is a daily cycle. Spring is 6 a.m. Summer is 12. Autumn is when the sun sets. Nighttime is winter. Horus and Set is Jesus and Satan. Set, the ground animal, lower self. Horus, the bird, the air animal, the higher self. Egyptian scarab is a dung beetle. Rolls dung up and then down the hill, representing the sun rising and falling, hence why the Egyptians used the sun above him. The Vatican is a sun dial, because Jesus is the sun with his 12 disciples. Why is it astronauts always do this symbolism? These are the only 3 monkey emojis. It symbolizes speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. Have you ever seen something horrible and it makes you shiver? Light is information. It enters the brain through the retinas of your eyes. This information affects your whole nervous system. Everything you see, touch, taste, hear and smell positively or negatively affects your nervous system and contributes towards shaping and molding your mind. And your mind shapes your reality. Astronauts do this because they're Freemasons, and they know everything that enters them is shaping them in some form. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, people. Why is it the Egyptians are obsessed with snakes? They've hidden this knowledge from you. Snakes shed their skin to remove old layers. They represent transformation. Kundalini is symbolized with snakes because you're transforming sexual energy to the brain. That's why the medical symbol uses a snake, because they transform your health back to healthy. Every ancient culture and religion uses snakes. They represent the ancient religion of ascension, transforming from a physical being to a spiritual being, low frequency to high frequency. These foods keep you in low frequency, hence why they're all red, orange and yellow for the lower 3 chakras. Snakes represent the ancient religion of mental or spiritual alchemy, turning lead into gold. Lead ruled by Saturn, physical matter. Gold ruled by the sun, enlightenment. Turning low-level desire and pleasure into wisdom, intuition and expression, raising your thoughts and consciousness out of the lower half of the body to the head. They've hidden the ancient religion of the snake to make you worship a god outside of yourself. Now they give you Allah and Jesus, which are in essence demons in the astral planes. Read the caption to understand that. If you want to learn symbolism, the masterclass is now available. Sun is electric, the moon is magnetic. Sun is positively charged, giving you energy. The moon is negatively charged, taking away your energy. The sun and moon are the yin and yang moving around the magnetic North Pole. It's called the North Pole because it's a pole of electromagnetic energy. Above the North Pole is Polaris, the center star. The 7 planets are the 7 days of creation. Monday for the moon, Sunday for the sun, Saturday for Saturn, Thursday for Thor, which is the god of Jupiter. Sky is a giant clock. Stars tell you the month of the year. The moon tells you the day of the month. The sun tells you the time of the day. They want you to think you're on a random ball in space. Stars are not physical. Earth, water, air, fire, ether. Ether is the gateway between the physical and the spiritual realm. Daytime, you're in your physical body. When you dream, you're in your astral body. Now you know why the ancients always show you paintings of people flying in the sky. Because this is all symbolic of people in the astral plane, in the higher dimensions above our head. They told you the planets were physical to hide these higher dimensions that you have access to. Females are magnetic, they attract. Males are electric, they are the action taker. Everything is electromagnetic. Trees resemble brains. Their branches mirror electricity, which looks exactly like your nervous system because you are an electric technological being. The same fractal patterns appear on leaves, rivers, lightning. The sun gives life to the earth. Your soul gives life to your body. The sun is the universal soul. The day is life, the night is death. When you sleep, you enter your spirit astral body, death. When you are awake, you enter your material body, life. Death is just a greater version of sleep. That's why we say sleep is the cousin of death. You are the universe in miniature, a fragment of God. You do not see into reality. The eyes are black holes. They suck in the light in the images produced at the back of the brain called the visual cortex. This is because the universe is a mental projection, and it's the #1 law in the Kabbalion that all is mind, the universe is mental. You never actually feel the external world. When you touch something, this is your brain's interpretation of electrical signals on your nervous system. You touch, taste, smell, hear, and see with your brain. You're not in the world. The world is being simulated from the brain and the body. It's a piece of technology. Your body is the earth. The sun is your soul. The moon represents your mind. You are the universal mind, the observer behind your thoughts, emotions, and senses. There is only one of us in the universe, and that is God. The one consciousness is what gives life to every single living life form. Forest is full rest. You are electromagnetic. Disease shows in your energy field before it shows up in your physical body. Illness vibrates on a low frequency. If you are low frequency with the food and the thoughts and emotions you feel, your energy will then match the low frequency where illness exists. But if you raise your vibration of your energy, positive thoughts, good emotions, and healthy food, you will not vibrate on the same frequency as illness. You will never become sick. You are an energetic being. Everything exists as a vibration. Trees emit high energy. Forest is for rest because it neutralizes and balances your energy. Plus, looking at all the different color spectrums in nature is very healing for your eyes. Everything is made lifeless for a reason. Lower your frequency and dull your mind. You're stuck within the cage, the rib cage. You're in a prison cell because you're made out of cells. You are hexed in physical matter. This is the X, the hex. The hexagram's a cube unfolded is the cross. You need to escape the physical world, the three-dimensional matrix, which is the world of Satan, because Satan gives you the mark of the beast, the physical body, the 666 carbon suit, and then blinds your mind. Your mind is completely separate from the physical world. Through physical pleasures and lack of understanding of yourself, you think your mind is part of your physical body, when in reality they are two separate things. Your mind is completely separate from your physical body. The physical world is a dimension within your mind. Men means mind, mental. Mind in Latin means mens. In order to escape the three-dimensional physical world, you have to fully detach your mind from your body. Meditation is key in transcending the 3D world and traveling the depths of your mind. Mind and matter is one. They are different dimensions within your mind. When you dream, your mind creates matter. This is why mind and matter are one. The cube is the shape that gives rise to physical matter. The link is in my bio for the Book of Wisdom, paperback and PDF. Placing your hands together completes the electrical circuit of your body. Your hands are manifestations of your brain hemispheres. The left hand is the right brain, the creative one. The right hand is the left brain, the logical one. Tate uses these mudras as a technique to merge the brain hemispheres, to merge logic with creativity. Most people are trapped in their logical mind because society programs you that way. You're taught to use your right hand in writing to strengthen the left hemisphere, trapping you in logic, dulling creativity. Christianity, nuns are forced to write with their right hand to strengthen the left hemisphere. Hence why it's called writing. Sounds like the right, because they need you using the right side of your body to keep you in logic. Look at prayer. We place our hands together in prayer. This stems from an ancient form of meditation of placing the hands together to sync the brain hemispheres, to unlock consciousness. Because when the brain hemispheres work as one electrical system, consciousness expands. The mind becomes unified. Join my Telegram in the bio. They tell tell you aliens built the pyramids, but history tells you slaves did. The truth is neither. Alien is A-lie-N. They don't exist, they're a lie. We can't even replicate these structures today. That means the builders knew something that we don't. This physical world is the lowest dimension there is. Everything is a shadow of the higher plane of consciousness. Every object you see first begun in the mental plane, the mind, as an idea. No, the mind is not your brain. It's a spiritual force behind all of creation. These pyramids, these cathedrals, they are physical manifestations of the ancient human mind, proof of a lost intelligence far beyond what we have today. They want you to think we were dumb back then. We were smarter. They hide the truth to keep you weak. The most important thing you can learn is that the universe is mental. The Symbolism Masterclass is now available. Smoking is witchcraft. Every plant has a spirit, a consciousness. Burning the plant releases the essence, the spirit of that plant. Inhaling the smoke is inhaling the spirit of that plant, which is infusing that consciousness with yours and making you become high. If you smoke tobacco, you're addicted to the spirit of tobacco. That spirit has control over your consciousness. Witchcraft is not evil. It can be used for good and bad. Smoking the devil's lettuce can be used for good and bad. You invoke the spirit of the plant. If you smoke lettuce with a bad mindset, you're invoking anxiety spirit. If you smoke with a positive, high vibrational mindset, you open your consciousness. You are the magician. You are the invoker of the spirit. Smoking plants with no self-control will invoke the spirit to control you. If you're going to smoke lettuce, use it to meditate and access deep meditation, or use it in ritual to reprogram your subconscious. Whatever you do, never smoke on a full moon, and stop using it to escape reality. Use it to open up your consciousness or to reflect on your life and access deep thought. Doing it every day will just make you lazy and you'll get nowhere in life. The link is in my bio for the free Telegram for free content. Organs are organisms because every organ has consciousness, can think with them. When you're horny, you think with your reproductive organs. When you're hungry, you think with your gut. This is why your head's called a temple, because the head is the temple of God. God is the creative power within you. Your soul is in hell when your soul is thinking with these lower brains. You unlock God when you unlock your creative power by raising your thoughts and awareness to your brain instead of dwelling in the survival brains and becoming a conscious creator. Thank you to everyone who's left amazing reviews on my book. They've disconnected you from the heavens. The whole world used to speak one language. This language was called telepathy. We could speak by transferring thoughts through the energetic grid that surrounds us all. Tower of Babel represents this connection to the astral and mental plane. The Bible mentions this tower being cut down. It symbolizes losing our connection to the higher realms. Once the tower was cut down, the whole world spoke a different language. Tower of Babel is a symbolic story representing losing the ability to telepathically communicate. Have you ever thought about someone and they magically appear on your phone? This is because we're all connected on the mental plane. Language is a spell. It molds our mind, limits our imagination, confines our thoughts to structures. Imagine thinking without your mind using a language. To gain telepathic powers, meditate for long periods of time on one intent. Focus the mind's energy and attention on one thing for long periods of time. Depression doesn't actually, because you're not doing what this is saying. We all have this feeling inside of us that tells us the right thing to do at all times. And if we do not connect with that, that is why we are depressed. That is the soul screaming out. So, my people, learn how to meditate if you have depression. I've been there, okay? And I promise you, depression does not exist. It's a choice. And when you learn to gain that off switch with your mind, you can turn depression off. Because depression is part of the thinking mind. You have to learn how to switch off the mind and control your thoughts. What is the meaning behind these three Masonic symbols? First of all, we have the compass. This is the cherry on top. It's the most important one. First, we must understand these. First off, we have the left pillar, Jackin. Sometimes the sun on the top, sometimes the earth on the top. Earth or the sun represents matter, what you can visibly see. The right pillar with B, Boaz, with the stars or the moon on top. This represents what you cannot see. External physical world, internal world of consciousness. The inner and the outer are mirrors of each other. Your current life circumstances are a manifestation of every thought you thought in the past. It also represents polarity, male and female. The brain, intellect, masculine. The heart, emotion, feminine. A compass creates circles, feminine. The square creates lines, masculine. Make the most out of life and make great decisions. The intellect must be in sync with the emotion. Remember that time when your head told you something but your heart was telling you something else? They need to be in sync, which is the square and the compass together. But this represents all duality. We need to balance the inside world with the outside world. Don't get too attached to the external. Don't be overly spiritual. Balance spirit and matter. Balancing the brain with the heart. It represents balance in all areas of your consciousness. People ask why? What's the point? Because this is how you gain your personal power. You are a creator. You've been creating your whole life consciously or unknowingly. In order to create with efficiency, you must balance every aspect of the self. 13 is not unlucky. They made you scared. Jesus has 12 disciples. He is the 13th. 1 plus 3 is 4. You have a fourfold nature, a mind, spirit, emotion, and body. This is why he has 4 gospels. Mark shows Jesus as a spiritual teacher. John shows Jesus as an emotional creature, water into wine. Matthew shows Jesus as a mental body, where he's intellectual and communicative. And Luke shows Jesus as a human being, where he does physical things for other people. 13 represents human consciousness. They have demonized it. That's why the word sacred is scared rearranged. They made you scared of all the sacred symbols. Water is emotion, air is the mind, earth is the body, and fire is the spirit. The Bible is filled with metaphors, cryptograms, astrological codes, and numerological codes. Jesus never existed. He represents you. He represents God made flesh. You are an extension of God's consciousness. Watch this YouTube video to find out. You don't go to hell because you sinned, not because you didn't believe in God, but because your soul was still chained to the physical world. Your body is stripped when you die, leaving your inner world of thought and emotion. If your soul is still craving physical pleasures, sex, money, fame, then you will suffer in your own suffering, because in spirit you can't fulfill the physical desires of the physical plane. Monks shave their heads, abandon the material world, not out of fear, but to free themselves before death. I'm not saying go full monk mode, but find balance. Enjoy life. Enjoy the pleasures of the world. Just don't let them own you. Love your family, but not attach to it, because one day you will leave this world behind. Everything is temporary, and your consciousness needs to be in the correct state in order to ascend. Hell is not a real place, but your own suffering in the afterlife. Join my Telegram in the bio. The moon is your mind. You can use the moon to your advantage. A full moon is very powerful. There are more police calls on a full moon than any other day of the month, the moon. The moon enhances our psyche, our internal state. If you are angry and a full moon comes around, this will be enhanced. And you will become a monster, a moon star, or a lunatic. Lunar is the moon. On a full moon, you should be visualizing, thinking and feeling the desired reality you want, because your intent, thoughts and emotions are more powerful on a full moon. This is why if you type in witches, they're always next to a full moon, because this is the best time to cast a spell. 28-day cycle of the moon, 28-day cycle of the menstrual cycle. It's in direct correlation with the moon. The moon governs liquids in your body. Fasting on a full moon is also very powerful, because the water in your body is being pulled by the moon. That's why the tides of the ocean follow the moon. 28-day cycle, this is a month, a moon. 365 days divided by 28, which is 13. There are 13 monthly cycles. Where is the missing month? We do not know what year we are truly in, people. I think they did this to stop us being in sync with the monthly cycle. What do you guys think? Did you know Playboy Carti practices magic? Many people have reported Carti staring into a flame for hours before he records. The reason he does this is to enter a trance-like state. By staring at the candle for long periods of time, you will escape the human mind of thought, allowing your consciousness to access the astral or the mental planes. The magician would do this with an intent to gain a certain information or certain thing from these higher planes. What this does is that it allows you to channel information into your conscious mind. Carti will more than likely do this to channel specific beats or ideas for music, because he understands that we are not just physical beings. If we can escape the human mind of thought, we can actually access higher realms and dimensions. Carti is also well known for doing energy work before his concerts. He will meditate in a black room claiming a certain energy for 30 minutes. And this is why everyone says he has so much aura. It's because when doing these meditations, you will invoke energy within your consciousness through emotion. He will do this to claim that energy energy. When he comes out onto the stage, he is then presenting that energy. Anyone can do these rituals and they will dramatically change your life. This is a very strong magnet. When we pour liquid nitrogen on it, nothing happens between the two magnetic poles. When we pour liquid oxygen on it, there is an attraction between the two magnetic poles. This proves there is electromagnetic energy within oxygen. This is why the word breath means spirit, because when we breathe deeply and do breath meditation, we strengthen our electromagnetic field, which is your spirit, your spiral. Breathing exercises sends oxygen, which is energy, to the brain and stimulates the pineal gland. You can quite literally trip off your breath because your lungs produce DMT, and when you breathe deeply, you can activate a mystical experience or an out-of-body experience during meditation. So when you breathe deeply for long periods of time, you will feel yourself going lightheaded because you're activating your consciousness, you're awakening your pineal gland and your spirit. Whatever you do, stop breathing through your mouth. Satan does not exist. Mark of the beast is 3 6s. 3 represents the 3 aspects of consciousness: thought, emotion, action. Cubes have 6 sides: up, down, left, right, backwards, forwards. 6 represents the physical world. 666 is you, when your thoughts, emotions and actions are all going towards your physical world, cutting off your spirituality, turning you into the beast, turning the pentagram upside down, placing spirit on the very bottom. Satanists do not worship Satan, worship the material world and what it has to offer. They're actually worshipping their physical self. The moon is a soul trap that makes you reincarnate. We live in a soul system, not a solar system. No one's trying to trap your soul. Let me explain. The moon does in fact trap your soul, and yes, it does reincarnate you, but it's not how you think it works. You have to understand that you are a physical being and you have an astral body. Astral body is the body you use when you dream and when you imagine. Imagination is a dimension. There are 7 layers to the astral plane, which are the 7 planets. Moon at the bottom, Saturn at the top, and the sun in the middle. When you die, you are stripped of your physical body, left with thought and emotion inside the astral plane, imagination. Imagination is your biggest power when you die. If you die with your mind and emotions still attached to addiction, sex, lust, and the material things of the world, then you will manifest in the lower astral plane, where low vibrational thoughts and imaginations take place, which is governed by the moon. Most souls in this physical world are attached to physical pleasure, and when they die, they manifest in the moon on the lower astral plane because they still desire the physical plane. When you are there and you can't fulfill your physical desire, you will reincarnate yourself. In order to ascend to the higher astral planes, we must detach from the external world before we die. If your soul is detached from the world, then you will merge with the sun. Hence why Jesus says, you can only reach the Father if you go through me. Jesus is the sun, and when you die, your light body will attach to one of the planets depending on your level of awareness. The moon is not a soul trap, it's not reincarnating you. You get yourself there by not preparing for death. The pyramids in Egypt have these cylinders, but no one is speaking about Luxor Temple, located in Karnak, Egypt. It's built in the figure of the human body. It's not a temple for worship. It was a 3D mystery school, teaching the science of ascension of our consciousness. The entrance is the feet. The feet touch the material earth, which represents the lower mind, the low state of consciousness. Every one of these rooms contains symbolism, containing secret teachings in order to ascend, designed to gradually elevate the individual's mind from the lower to the higher, from matter to spirit. These symbols on the walls encoded secret spiritual wisdom, and you would have to go room by room to work your way up. The Egyptians never worshipped any deity. They taught the secret teachings of occultism on how to expand the human awareness. Congratulations to everyone who used the code. Parents are a pair who rents. Because you don't own your child, you sign them away using a signature. You signed your nature with a sigil. A sigil is a symbol used in witchcraft. You are born into this world, and the word born comes from barren, which means lifeless, dull and boring. Then you are controlled by the government, the governmentality. They control your mind. Everything physical began as a thought in the thinking mind. The mind is the root cause of reality, so they control your mind, not your body. They do this by broadcasting spells to north, east, west and south, the news. My God! Wow! Then they teach you the vowels in this specific order, A, E, I, O, U. to teach you that you owe them to become a slave. You are weak in the weekdays because you are working. Where you were a king, you are no longer a king if you are working. Then on the weekend, you are weakened from the weekdays. Days is a daze where you are in a state of confusion. The television is used to tell a vision to program you on the programs. They want you to think slaughter is laughter, hello is hell is low. Words are swords because they mold your mind. They also create three-dimensional sound waves which impacts the fabric of matter. I believe that we were never meant to use words. Language has been manipulated so that we no longer use telepathy because we are all connected on the mental plane. We still have telepathic powers which we call intuition. Did you know your city has its own spirit? Keep scrolling if you don't have an open mind. Every physical object has a spiritual light body. You have a physical body and you have a spiritual light body that you use to dream. This is what we call the astral plane. It's the dimension you use when you imagine something. The thoughts, the beliefs, the traumas of one specific city manifests itself as an energy inside the astral plane. The thoughts and the emotions of the collective consciousness in this city manifests as a spiritual entity in the astral plane. If you move to this city, that energy will be impressed onto you. This is why the people who move to Dubai become more wealthy, because everyone mentally knows Dubai for wealth and money, which means that is an energy being impressed upon that city. Think of a place that you visited. What does it make you feel like? That's the spirit of that place. Personally, I don't think cities are a natural thing and we shouldn't all be compressed into these places because the collective consciousness holds a power over you. Code Spring 30 ends soon. Why is it Jesus wears a white robe? This is all symbolism. The color white represents spirit. Your spirit is your astral body. Immortal body of light that you use when you dream. You came from the astral plane. You descended into matter. You're a fallen angel angle, a fallen angle of light. Daytime, you're in your physical body. The nighttime, you're in your astral body. You are an immortal soul, a multi-dimensional creature. You can travel between dimensions. Jesus was the fisher of men. In Latin, the word men means mind. Jesus was the fisher of minds, pulling minds out of the physical world. Neo pulls minds out of the simulation. If Jesus existed, he was not God. We are all God. He was a person who descended into matter and helped people ascend their mind out of the physical world. These are the sacred teachings of astral projection. Jesus in the sky with the white robe represents your astral body. They hide everything in symbolism.
That's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud.
The Holy Spirit is not what you think. Spirit is a spiral, a spiraling electromagnetic field around your body. This field can either be weak or strong. Your mental and emotional state defines your aura. Love, authenticity, and gratitude creates a strong aura, which gives you the Holy Spirit, or putting on the full armor of God in Ephesians. Because Ephesians tells you that the struggle is not against flesh and blood. Therefore, the armor of God is not a physical armor. It's a spiritual, energetic aura around your body. A strong electromagnetic aura will defend you from infections and negative energy. The heart is the inner intelligence that tells you what is good and evil. When you do something evil, you feel an inner conscience within your heart that you're doing something wrong. Every time you do something against the heart's laws, you are weakening this field, which then makes you more susceptible to disease and negative energy. In order for you to gain the Holy Spirit, you must have love, authenticity, gratitude, and happiness within your heart. And you must not break the rules inside of the heart. And this is how you put on the armor of God or gain the Holy Spirit. Back in the medieval times, they practiced magic and witchcraft. There's something called the occult virtue of things, meaning everything has its own power. A bear is very strong. An owl stays up very late. A dog has heightened smell. They would rip out the heart of an animal to gain its virtue. If they wanted to stay up all night, they'd carry the heart of an owl. If they wanted more strength, they'd carry the heart of a bear. Now fast forward to today. The meat industry is massive. Are they feeding us all this meat to keep us locked in our animal nature? Because humans, we're more than just animals. We possess self-awareness. We can question reality and we can elevate to something beyond our instincts. The mind is connected to beyond physicality. But if we're constantly consuming flesh, we're being kept in this lower instinctual nature. Jesus and Satan do not exist. Jesus and Satan are two characters that represent a psychological process within the human mind. Jesus, the higher mind, the good thoughts, love. Satan, the little voice in your head that tells you to steal, rob and hate. You must save yourself from the destructive thoughts and the internal hell that you may live in. You created the destruction in your life. Satan never made it. You made it. There's no devil tempting you to do anything. It's your own mind. And you'll forever blame external things until you realize this truth. The Anunnaki never existed. They symbolize incarnation. Now let's break this down. Anu was the divine god of the sky. Ki was the goddess of the earth. The sky god Anu married the goddess of the earth, Ki. Together, they gave birth to the Anunnaki. Anu represents the sky, which is your consciousness, spirit. Ki represents earth, matter, your physical body. Your spirit incarnated into matter. Now you are the Anunnaki. Divine spirit manifested in a physical body. Even the Freemasons show you this with the circle and the square, spirit and matter. You're probably thinking, why did the ancients secretly code their scriptures? It's because they wanted you to use the right hemisphere of your brain. People get trapped in reading the Bible and ancient texts with the left hemisphere, logical and historical. All of their texts were made for the right hemisphere, which is all to do with metaphors, decoding, and reading between the lines. This way, they wouldn't just give us these truths. We had to figure them out so that we became more intelligent. If you want to learn more, read the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Why is it Freemasons stand on this checkered floor? You see this in music videos. It represents division and illusion. You think you are this physical body, which is the illusion of the physical plane. You need to ascend to higher understanding of the spiritual planes. Mainstream music is hypnosis, putting you in a trance and keeping you in the illusion of the matrix. These Masonic tools are tools to recraft your mind, reshaping your belief system and ascending to higher consciousness. Stop remaining in the illusion. Low-level pleasures, lust, food, sex, entertainment. Learn symbolism to raise your understanding of yourself. Everything is spoken to you in symbolism. I've made it so easy for you all to learn symbolism. You'll learn every symbol possible. The eye that you see on the pyramid is the third eye. The third eye is the human mind. Your mind can go in the past and the future, therefore it exists outside of this physical world, outside of time. The pineal gland is not the third eye, it's the radio receiver for your invisible intelligence, the mind. The more you dwell in your mind instead of the external world, the more you unlock. When you dream and leave this realm of thought, you are in a whole other realm. You can evolve physically and you can also evolve mentally, accessing other worlds and realms. There are 9 numbers because there are 9 dimensions. The word dimension has men in it, which means mind or mentality. This is where the word man comes from. It's Latin for mind because man is not the physical body, it's the invisible mind. Cats can see into all 9 dimensions. This is why the Egyptians always symbolize them. Vatican symbols are key. The Vatican is a key because they give you religion to make you look outside of yourself, because they hide the key, and the key is within you to access the other worlds. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth was telling you this. The key to the worlds within thee are found only within. Entertainment. Entertain the mind. They want you looking outside of yourself constantly. This is why they have all of these platforms. Luke 17:12, the kingdom of God is within you. The comment that gets 0 likes will win a free book of wisdom. I've noticed something a bit strange about these LA fires everyone's been tagging me at. The first weird thing that I noticed is that insurance companies dropped fire coverage 3 months before the fire started. And many people have reported electrical wires from the power grid causing these fires. And of course, the water supply has been cut off. And don't you think it's a bit weird in this picture that all of the trees stay standing but the houses aren't? Of course, this is for educational purposes only and I'm not claiming anything. And then we go to Google and type in 2028 Smart LA City. What a coincidence they want to build a smart city in LA. And of course, it's a lot easier to build a whole city if there's no buildings there. Of course, this is just for educational purposes only, and I hope everyone is safe over there. Thank you. There's a secret code behind every ancient Christian painting. You're probably not going to be a Christian after watching this. When we add spheres to each one of these points on this Holy Trinity painting from the 1600s, what it actually shows is the Kabbalah tree. This is literally undeniable. You cannot not see it once you see it. Religious texts are encoded esoteric scriptures. In fact, every religion we have today stems back to the secret teachings of the Kabbalah. You think you're the body. We are not our body. We are not our thoughts. We are the soul. We have a soul, mind, and body. Jesus is the body. The Father is the mind. The soul is the Holy Spirit. This sign is not the devil horns. It's the moon crescent. Moon is mood, which is emotion. The moon crescent on top of the head symbolizes emotion ruling over our mind, our body, our life. Devil is red because the red is the lowest vibrational color. And this is you when you are operating your life in your animal nature. The devil is the ground animal, the lower self. The bird is the angel, which is the higher self. See the man standing on the moon. This represents conquering the emotion, and they no longer govern your life. Your emotions change all the time, and this is symbolized as the moon phases. Money rules your emotions, and this is why money has moon within it. A demon is actually your emotions. God and the devil exist within yourself. It's a battle between your higher mind and lower mind, between the five senses and your mind, your consciousness. Religion has externalized the truth, so they keep you in your animal nature. I found some secret codes in the Bible. The Bible contains numerology, and in Revelation 14, it states 144,000 will go to heaven. 144 adds up to 9. The 9th letter in the English alphabet is I. God's name Yahweh means I am. This is our body. I is our consciousness. 9 is the number of consciousness. Let's take it deeper. The lamb standing on Mount Zion. The lamb represents Aries. Aries rules the head, and this is the lamb horns in our brain. Holy Mount Zion is our spine. The lamb is on top of Mount Zion with the 144,000, which is 9, which is consciousness. And they had the Father's name written on their forehead. Our forehead is where our consciousness is. 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth represent the ones who found their consciousness. 144,000 sang a new song. New song is a new state of awakened consciousness. Sing a new song, awaken to your consciousness, not your body. Heaven is a state of consciousness. This book will literally tell you everything. Today is a full moon, and this is why I don't eat or scroll on my phone on this day. The sun is our conscious mind. The moon is our subconscious mind. Just like the moon phases have these cycles, so does our consciousness. We go through mood swings and different emotions and thoughts all the time. If you didn't already know, your subconscious mind controls 90% of your daily basis thoughts and actions. The new moon is when your subconscious mind is mainly closed. However, a full moon is when the subconscious mind is more accessible during this phase. This is the best time to reprogram your subconscious and break your old habits. I don't do anything that is highly addictive on this specific day. Instead, I use my conscious mind to think, feel, and imagine my specific reality that I want on this day. And this will impress this reality on my subconscious. And my subconscious will start to believe I've already got the reality, which will then create effect in my external reality. This is why you always see witches with a full moon behind their head, because this is the best time to do a ritual of implanting new seeds into your consciousness so they can grow into a beautiful reality. And this is also the reason why you always get good ideas at nighttime, because the daytime is survival mode, it's conscious. The nighttime's our subconscious, imagination. Ever wondered why your middle finger's considered swearing? There's a hidden element that they've hid from you called ether. 5 points on the body, 5 elements. 5 fingers, 5 elements. They demonized your middle finger because it's ether. But what exactly is the ether? Ether is like the blueprint to all physical creation. They covered up the ether by calling it dark matter. It's where all energy comes from and returns back to. Think of it as an eternal water of life feeding everything with energy. Yes, the ether can provide free 0-point energy, but that is not the biggest secret. The biggest secret about the ether is that our minds can manifest whatever we project into it into a reality. This is what the Matrix is showing you with these codes. You can change the codes to reality by changing your inner consciousness. The ether acts as a barrier from the imagination plane astral into the physical plane. Just look at the words that we use. Together. Ether. There's so much more that goes into this. Make sure to follow me. Did you know your heart is not actually a pump? The heart is in the shape of a chestahedron, a 7-sided shape where all of the surface areas are the same. Placing a chestahedron in water creates a vortex in the water, and your heart tissues is in a vortex spiral. Your heart is actually one muscle but wrapped in a spiraling vortex form. This is because your heart is a vortex energy generator. Blood enters the heart and creates a vortex spiral inside of the heart. Your heart turns water in the blood into plasma, the fourth state of water, which they'll never tell you about. Plasma makes up approximately 55% of your blood. The earth is electromagnetic. The reason why heart rearranged is earth is because the heart takes the electromagnetic energy of the earth and turns this into plasma in the blood to run the physical body. Your heart is directly connected to the universe, to the electromagnetic energy of the earth. This is why we always see Jesus pointing at his heart. Your heart is inside of the chest. This is where the treasure is, inside of the heart. Your heart contains 40,000 neurons, which is the exact same cells in your brain. The heart is the emotional brain which gives you guidance. It tells you what is right and what is wrong. This is why we say follow your heart.
Did you know the only difference between water and ice is a state of vibration? Now think of your desired reality. Only difference between your desired reality and your current circumstances is a state of consciousness. You can become the reality you want before you physically have it. If you observe closely, it's not actually the job that you hate. It's the emotion, the thoughts, and the state of consciousness that job makes you feel. Therefore, it's not the job that you want to change, it's the state of consciousness. By using our thought, emotion, and imagination, we can become the reality in a state of consciousness before physically having it, and watch your outer world rearrange itself to match your new state. Think about this. Your life is a direct correlation of every thought you thought in the past, which means your world is an externalization, a materialization of your thoughts and mind. Most people live in a cycle of the external world manipulating their inner world, not realizing their inner world is projecting the outer, which produces a cycle of constant negative manifestation. But when we stop, when we change our inner world and we act, think, feel as if we are already living from the wish fulfilled, that's how we produce effect in the material world.
The Twin Towers are an 11. Flight 11 was hijacked. New York is the 11th state. There were 11 crew members on the flight. 9/11 adds up to an 11. New York in gematria adds up to 111. Freemasonic pillars are an 11. With the black and white checkered board, black and white add up to 11. 11, 11. Black is matter, white is spirit. Was this just a Masonic ritual? I'm not making any claims, but I'm just pointing things out. They are trapping your soul in the earth. It's a soul system, not a solar system. We start in the stars and we descend through the 7 planets, which give you the 7 chakras, the 7 colors, 7 days of creation, the 7 days of the week, Saturday for Saturn, Monday for the moon, Sunday for the sun. This is where we come from, unconditioned consciousness. Our consciousness falls and conditions into these states to be created in this world. Each one of us is a star. Hue, man, light, manifested in physical form. That's why we say sister, mister, monster, stir a star. And when you're famous, you're a star. Ancient paintings of Jesus show a star being descended down. Now you know the real reason why Paramount show the stars descending down, going to the mountain. Freemasons show the path back to the stars. Each one of us is God experiencing himself in a divided state. But the archons in this world brainwash your mind to trap your soul in here. When you learn the language of symbolism, your life will completely change. Why is it Freemasons always place the East at the top of their artwork? I'm going to decode the symbolism for you. At the bottom of the painting, we have checkered board floors. This is the base. This is the beginning. Black is material. White is spiritual. The physical world is made by spirit and matter combined. This represents the beginning of the Mason's journey when he lives in illusion and identifies himself with the physical body. Now this is why you see the checkered floor in music all the time, because they're using music to produce illusions. This is a blueprint to produce a temple, and these are the tools to create the temple. Not a physical temple, a temple within our own mind. These tools represent the tools to reconstruct our inner world, to change our belief system, limiting beliefs and mental blockages. We must build a temple in the 3 aspects of our consciousness: thought, emotion, action. Once we have reconstructed and built a temple of moral law and integrity and changed our belief systems within our own mind and consciousness, we can then start the journey to enlightenment. This ladder is the ladder of climbing to higher consciousness, going from the illusion of the material world up to enlightenment and understanding higher levels of reality. And no, I'm not a Freemason, I've just studied their symbols. When you can read symbolism, it will change your life. Why is it the ancients always wore silver? This is gonna blow your mind. Your brain and your body is a bioelectric system. Your body is basically a technological machine which serves as an interface that allows consciousness to interact with the 3D world. Your body's flow of ions and electrons helps to ensure that your body's bioelectric machinery operates harmoniously and supports vital functions. Which is why the ancients wore silver and precious metals, because they enhance the flow of ions and electrons, which can enhance the flow of electricity within your body, making your brain to process information quicker. You are an electromagnetic machine. The human body is a battery. This is why we have to charge ourselves constantly with energy. Silver is said to be one of the best energy conductors. Silver has the ability to minimize electrical resistance, which improves cellular communication and energy flow. This is the original reason why humans used to wear jewelry. Not to enhance our looks, but to enhance the functions of our electrical bodies. If you have neck, wrist, or ankle pain, you would wear a specific metal around this area. Physical is Phi cycle. The Phi symbol is the Torus field. We live in a cycle of an electromagnetic field. Birth, growth, decay, and death. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. Everything comes out of the ether and returns back to the ether. That's why death has ether within it, because your soul came through the ether and then you will return back through the ether. Back to your astral light body. Your soul goes back to the ether every night when you go to sleep. That's why sleep is the cousin of death, because sleep is just a microcosm of this macrocosm cycle. Day and night, summer, winter, everything is just a cycle of the atom and how energy works. That's why blood leaves the heart and returns back to the heart. Just like how the heart's energy field leaves the heart and goes back to the heart. The heart is an infinite energy source. Heart rearranged is ether. Your heart speaks the language of the universe, energy. You never actually die, your soul lives forever. However, we need to detach from every addiction we have before we die. Human is hue-man. Hue is an attribute of a color. Color is light. Hue is light. Man is manifested. We are light manifested in physical form. We are holographic electromagnetic beings. Heart rearranged is earth. The heart chakra is green and the earth is green. And the sky is blue and the throat chakra is blue. You're not a body inside of a universe. You are the universe experiencing itself, a microcosm form. Nothing is separate from you. You are all things. Religion has just externalized these teachings. This is why the church tells you not to do yoga. The nervous system stores emotional trauma. For example, you're in a car crash. Just before you crash, your body starts to tense up in the anticipation for the impact. The nervous system stores this tension, and your nervous system has stored every sensation you've ever had. Over time, all of these tensions can manifest into a physical problem such as back pain, joint aches, and even disease. Yoga is highly effective from releasing stored trauma from the nervous system before it can manifest into any problems. You know that amazing feeling you get after stretching? That's all of your trauma and negative energy being released from your nerves. Yoga does not open demonic doors into your consciousness. It's just another fear that the church installs to you, so you stop increasing your consciousness. The sun is electric, the moon is magnetic, male and female, fire and water. The sun gives you energy, it's a positive charge. The moon is negatively charged, taking away your energy. Yin and yang. The earth is darkness, it produces no light of its own. All of the light comes from above, from the etheric and astral plane. The earth is matter, above is spirit. The sun is floating because it's in the etheric plane. As above, so below. All the life comes from above. That's why all religions stem back to the worshipping of the stars. Because the material plane is only alive because of the etheric life force. That's why Jesus is the risen savior. He is the sun with the 12 disciples, 12 zodiac signs. And the sun raises every day and saves you. Jesus was not a real person. but an astrological code. You need to understand the simulation. Everything you feel is not real, and everything you see is an illusion. Everything you're experiencing is a simulation produced by your nervous system. This laptop is not solid, it's just a bunch of atoms placed together. And the reason my finger doesn't go through the laptop is the electrical fields of the atoms in the laptop are repelling the electrical fields in my finger. What you feel when touching something is your nervous system decoding the electrical waves that you've come into contact with. You're not feeling the external world. You're feeling electrical impulses decoded by your brain. They'll never tell you this, but your brain is an energy decelerator. Everything outside of you is energy. What you see is your brain slowing down this energy outside of you into a visual image that you can perceive. Everything outside of you is fake. The only thing that is real is your consciousness. Material world trick, matrix. Hindus call this Maya, the illusion of the world. Kabbalists call the world the veil that hides your soul. And the reason why the world's so lost and depressed today, because we're looking for ourselves in the outer world. None of the short-term pleasures that the material world offers can ever satisfy your soul. True happiness comes from within. Stop seeking validation in your outer reality. Go within yourself and find happiness within. The solution to the world is meditation. Freemasons wear this symbol, which is the same symbol for Gmail. The G is the Masonic G. The M is for the mother, because the woman holds a portal, a stargate into the physical world. That's why they wear it in the genital area. The mother makes you into matter, all M's. Once you are made into matter in the womb, she then delivers the male. Every single one of us came through the mother into the physical world. That's why they're so important. Feminine, nin is 9. Masculine, lin is line. 1 and 9 adds up to 10, which is the binary code of all creation. 0 is the cosmic womb. 1 is the masculine pillar. These are the only two numbers that truly exist. That's why man adds up to 10, and so does Adam. Because we are made in perfection with the numbers. 6, 9. 6 is physical matter, the cube. 9 is spirit, spirit and matter combined. The woman combines your spirit with your physical body. If you feel lost and don't understand reality, read this book. Did you know the sun setting is the symbol for Libra? And the scales of Libra represent the balancing of the sun between the summer and the winter. A yearly cycle is a daily cycle. Spring is the morning, summer is midday, Libra is the evening, winter is the nighttime. And did you know your body is ruled by the Zodiac signs? Libra rules your core, and the muscles in your core help anchoring your center of gravity, which gives you the ability to balance yourself, just like how Libra is the balancing scales. There's no way this is all just a coincidence. This is evidence that we live in a beautifully designed world. That the sun's rhythm and balance manifested in your body as the balancing core. And this is why wisdom is wealth. Alcohol means body-eating spirit, al-Kul in Arabic. Vodka is called spirit. Gin is a jinn, which is another type of spirit in witchcraft. This is where we get the word jinx from. When you jinx something, it means bad luck, because they hide the spiritual planes from you. They want you to believe everything is just physical. Consuming alcohol destroys the connection between your etheric body and allows spiritual entities to attack your chakra system. Alcohol destroys brain cells, which weakens the connection between your mind and brain. All religions condemn alcohol because it originates from witchcraft. When you are really drunk and you don't know what you're doing, this is when you are fully possessed. This stuff is real, people. If you have the ability to astral project, you can literally see these entities for yourself. These open your mind. This attacks you spiritually. Why do you think these are illegal and this is legal? Music is magic, putting you in a hypnotic trance so that it can access the back end of your consciousness, the subconscious mind. This is all to do with your memories, programs. This is why you can remember the lyrics so vividly, because everything in the music is made specifically to ingrain your subconscious and mold your consciousness to their agenda. This is why everyone's dressing the same and thinking the same thoughts and into the same interests, because we're all being conditioned through the music. The music has a profound influence over fashion and everything in society. Did you know baptism is a scam? To trick you and to make you believe that you're going to be saved. And the true baptism happens within you. We have 4 stages of human consciousness. Earth, stage 1. This is when we're in a survival state of consciousness. Water, stage 2. The truth in cleansing. Dunking your head in water is symbolic for cleansing yourself from the survival animalistic state. And once we've cleansed ourselves, we have the fire stage, the awakening, the spiritual awakening. Then once we awaken, we go to the air, stage 4 of self-mastery. Dunking your head in water will not save you from anything. You must save yourself from the lower mind, from the animalistic state of consciousness. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, Corinthians 15:50. It means your body cannot enter the kingdom of God. Your emotions, spirit, and mind can, which means heaven and hell is a mind state, not a real place. Theologians 4:17, you meet the Lord in the air. You meet the Lord in the highest stage of consciousness, the mind, the air, the self-mastery. No man in the sky going to save you. Religion want you to believe this so you give away your power. They don't want you mastering yourself. They want you weak. Find the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2 in my bio. Did you know doing this gesture is the Antichrist? Performing this produces the upside down cross. So you touch the head down to the heart, then tap both shoulders, which is cutting the connection between the head and the heart. It symbolizes cutting the connection between the mind and the soul. And the soul is pure love. You know when you hurt someone and you can feel that you've done something wrong inside your heart? That's because your soul is encoded with God's law of love. They don't want us connected with our soul intelligence, the intelligence within you that tells you the right thing to do at all times. This is why we say, follow your heart, and that Christ may dwell in your heart, because the heart is the brain for the soul, and the brain is the temple for the mind. The earth needs to connect more with their heart, because love is the unifying force that brings us all together. This cartoon shows you that you are far more than your physical body. Humanity has lost this ability to activate their spirit, or the astral body, fully enslaving us in this physical plane.
Okay. Man, this is screwy. Maybe it's the can of beans we had for dinner. Looks, homey. Whoa! Oh, right.
Emojis are demons. Demons are spirits. In magic, you use sigils to invoke spirits and demons. But what exactly is a spirit? A spirit is just a non-physical force or energy. Emotion is energy in motion. Motion is a spirit. Emojis are sigils which invoke specific spirits or emotions. This sigil invokes the spirit of happiness. This spirit invokes the spirit of frustration and anger. Just by looking at these emojis or sigils, they change energy in your consciousness. This is invoking energy within you. A demon is just a negative spirit, a negative emotion which possesses you, possesses your heart and your energy field, making you feel a certain way. You're an electromagnetic being with the power to invoke energy. You lot have been going crazy recently. We're nearly sold out on the Book of Wisdom. There's limited available. Is it just me, or does the world seem as if it's losing its color? There's even been images of this taken in 2021 compared to 2023. Who remembers seeing the sun as a yellow ball of energy? Now we just have this white light. Like, what are they doing? Personally, I think this is the result of weather manipulation, geoengineering, EMF towers, and pollution. As a child, I remember sitting in nature and you would be covered in insects. Now, when you go into nature, you hardly see any. Let me know if you can relate in the comments. Your head has this spiral, which is the Fibonacci sequence, which comes from the rotating fields of magnetism. Sound creates magnetic fields create electricity. The sound of you talking creates torus fields, which permeates the whole of creation. Everything manifests as a torus field. Literally everything, including yourself. Your heart is a vortex, and the pulsing sound of it creates this electromagnetic torus field around your body. If you looked down on this electromagnetic field, you'd see the flower or the lotus of life, which is the Fibonacci sequence. This field spirals inwards into the head and out on the feet or the torso. If you look down on your head, this is why you see this spiral. It comes from all of the spiraling of your electromagnetic field coming in the head, which is the crown chakra. Look at the symbol for the crown chakra. It's the flower, which has the same pattern as this. Your spirit is a spiral, a spiraling electromagnetic field. The Fibonacci sequence connects the macrocosm to the microcosm, because this will go for infinity. This means you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are God made flesh. You are the universe. Kendrick Lamar with the A on his chain, with the American flag. This has a deep meaning no one has figured out. A represents Alpha, the beginning of the Greek alphabet. Alpha represents new beginnings. Omega represents endings, because it's the last letter of the Greek alphabet. At the end of the show, it said game over, because the old world is now over, and Kendrick Lamar held the ceremony, which is a ritual representing the new beginning of America. This is why the dollar bill has an omega on it, representing the end of fiat currency. This picture is deeply symbolic. Everything they do is code. Elon with the omega representing ending and him waving goodbye, and Trump, which is the new beginning, the alpha with his thumbs up. The new beginning of America, 2024, 24, the 24th letter of the Greek alphabet, omega, the ending. This was the last year. 2025 is a new beginning. Everything is going to be reset. This is just one of my lectures from the new Symbolism Masterclass. In this class, I will teach a limited amount of people every single occult and esoteric symbol one by one and show you real life events. This opens on the 19th of February, 8 p.m. GMT. Join my Telegram or my newsletter in my bio to secure your spot. The spots will go instantly. You will have to be quick.
Elon Musk with the Omega symbol. What does this mean? Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. It represents the end. This is the 24th letter of the Greek alphabet. Last year was 2024. This was the end. 2025 is the new beginning. These are just some of the codes that the elite speak to us through symbolism. Look at the dollar bill. The dollar bill has an omega on it, representing the last physical currency we will have before moving towards a digital currency. They show us these things through symbolism before they actually do it.
The Egyptian gods never existed. They symbolize the different body parts of your body. Anubis represents the tongue. He's a dog with the barking because the power of life and death is in the tongue. Falcon of Horus is the inner brainstem. Osiris, the god of death and the underworld. He represents the reptilian brain, hence why he's green and has reptiles next to him. The reptilian brain is when our consciousness exists in death because we don't think. Horus with the circle on his head represents the limbic system in the brain. Amun-Ra is the hippocampus in the brain. Ra is where we get RAM. Computer has a RAM for memory, and the hippocampus in the brain is all to do with memory. This is the Lamb of God. Thoth, the god of wisdom, the one who preserves the ancient wisdom. Ibis bird is the sternum, which is the chest, which contains the treasure, which is our soul, our heart. Our heart contains the sacred knowledge. Sternum protects the heart, the treasure. He preserves the wisdom. The Ankh is the portal into the physical world, the uterus. The Bible even tells you that animals are deeply symbolic. Job 12:7. Ask the beasts of the field and they will teach you, the birds of heaven and they will tell you. Because each animal represents a part of the human experience. Snakes represent the wave of energy. The Egyptians saw each body part had a specific role in the human experience. And these parts of our body are very sacred. If you want to learn more, then read the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Ever wondered why graduates wear this hat? The hat is a square and a circle. The square created by the square, the circle created by the compass, which is the Freemasonic square and compass. The circle is eternal, no beginning, no end. The square creates the square, which is beginning and end. Spirit and matter, mind over matter, the compass over the square. But in this case, we have the square over the circle, which represents matter over the spirit. The graduation cap symbolizes dominance of matter over spirit, representing the conditioning imposed by Saturnic energy. Hence why it's a black cap for the black cube of Saturn. That's why judges wear a black robe, representing reinforcement and limitation. This is not a coincidence. Is university just conditioning to limit the human mind? Jesus never existed. The Last Supper is astrology. Each body part is ruled by a zodiac. Aries the lamb rules the head, which is why he's on the head of the table. Taurus rules the neck. He has a very thick neck for Taurus the bull. The next sign is Gemini. Gemini is the two arms, the two twins. That's why his hands are up for the two twins. Next sign is Cancer the crab with pinchers. He's holding a knife for the pincher of Cancer. The next sign is Leo when the sun is powerful, radiant and summer. That's why he's showing dominance with with a clenched fist and an elbow on the table. The next sign is Virgo, the Virgin. He's pointing that there's no Adam's apple. This is a woman, a Virgo, the Virgin. Jesus is the sun, the light of the world, the risen Savior, the Son of God. He's placed in a triangle to symbolize the sun's rays. One hand up for the daytime, one hand down for the taking away of the sun at nighttime. Libra is when the sun is balanced between summer and the winter. That's why Libra is the balanced scales, and the symbol is a half rising sun. That's why he's holding his arms out balanced. Next sign is Scorpio, with this man pointing upwards. Scorpio is our reproductive sexual organs. He's pointing up because you must raise your sexual energy up to Aries. That's why Aries is an anagram for arise. They're in 4 groups of 3 because there are 3 months in each season: Luke, Mark, John and Matthew. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Jesus is the sun, which is our soul. Spring is our physical body, summer is our spirit, fall is our emotions, winter. Christians have been tricked. Jesus didn't ask to be worshipped. He wanted us to live by his teachings. Turning water into wine wasn't literal. Water is emotion. Wine is transformed emotion. We must transmute our negativity. Walking on water is no different than believing in Santa who drops off presents every year. It's meant to be emotional control. Walking on top of water, our emotion. The world is in chaos because we don't understand the hidden parables. We lack understanding, and this is why we have war, fear, division, and uncontrolled emotions. Stop worshipping. Start embodying his teachings. Belief alone won't save you. You must rise above the lower mind. How to enter a meditative state instantly. Get present. Bring yourself into the moment by repeating affirmations. I am here right now. Nothing else matters. Say this for 5 minutes to anchor your awareness. 2. Shift your focus. Direct your attention to the back of the brain or your breath. The back of the brain does not think.
Just hanging around.
So this quiets the mind, allowing your consciousness to expand beyond the clouds of thought and connect with your true self. 3. Breathe with intention. Inhale deeply through the nose, filling your lungs completely. As you exhale, let your breath out slower than you took it in. Do this for 15 or 30 minutes and you'll naturally enter a meditative state. Never breathe through your mouth. This is for emergencies only, and this is what dogs do. They've lied to you about geometry. Every frequency has its own geometric pattern. Physical matter is just low vibrating energy at a specific frequency. Everything is vibration, vibrating on a specific frequency, which creates a different geometric pattern. Everything contains geometry. They tell you this is God's mathematical codes behind this reality. The true geometry is within you. Brain is an energy decelerator. Nothing around you is physical, it's energy, and your brain condenses it into a reality that you can interact with. Light enters the eyes, it turns into electricity and goes to the optic nerve to the visual cortex, and it creates an image in the brain. Therefore, you are not in the world is within your brain and body. You're experiencing a simulation by your nervous system. Therefore, geometry is actually your brain's mathematical codes on turning energy into matter. These geometric patterns is basically your brain's way of decoding energy. Nothing is outside of you and you are projecting this reality, the creator and the programmer. Orgasms are ruining your life. When you release, you produce dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's reward system. When you release, you get a spike in dopamine, feeling amazing. This tells your body that you have achieved something. Then your dopamine levels plunge. If you have an orgasm every day, then you are tricking your brain and body that you have achieved something because you're activating the brain's reward system. This is why you feel lazy, tired, and unmotivated to do anything with your life, because your body already feels accomplished and achieved something. When you stop watching these dirty websites, then your brain will start to seek dopamine in other things, like writing a book or making something out your life. Sex is the best possible feeling that the human body can feel. And if you experience this feeling every day, then you will numb yourself to the little things in life that you won't be able to enjoy, because you're giving yourself the epitome of feelings. When you stop watching porn and releasing, your life will change.